So guys, if a new subtree might come to China as Singapore and Indonesia and some other nations, what are the jets that we might see there? What are some options of vehicles that we might see there in higher tiers, in top tiers? So let's talk a little bit about that. Of course, just to remind you guys if you didn't see it, we had some major leaks today that are coming from reliable sources. Hopefully they are right. Hopefully they are reliable enough that we can trust them, because if not, come on, right? But, and in there was basically a leak about a new subtree for China coming in a form of many Asian nations, right? One of them would be Singapore, the other Indonesia, and some others maybe, right? But these would be the main ones, right, for China. So what are the vehicles we can see? So of course there are many vehicles. My idea here is to just give 4 examples and some ideas on them, to actually have a little bit of fun while we wait for the dev blogs and everything to start. And even if the subtree doesn't come in this update, which probably will not come, okay? This is probably something for a future update. The first aircraft that I found that would be very cool, coming as a Brazilian that loves our F5EMs, which is basically a modernized F5E that has a better radar, uses Derby missiles and stuff. It would be the F5S, which is very similar to our F5EM, right? So it would be an upgrade to the Tiger II F5 or the F5E, using the Grifo radar, which I think is the same radar that we Brazilians use in the F5EM and F5FM, right? Pulse Doppler, of course, BVR capability, all of that, a revamped cockpit, MFDs, a new HUD, a new RWR, one M39, just like our F5s. That's why I love this thing so much. It's so similar to the F5s that we have here in Brazil. So one M39 20mm gun instead of the 2. So one of them was removed to make place basically for avionics. A larger leading edge extension in the roots of the wings, and basically the roots of all the aerodynamic part that you can call it a wing, and basically the fuselage and stuff to make it be able to turn a little bit more. And most sources also claim that he can actually fire the AIM-120, which is probably correct due to the radar that he has. Like I said, this radar is, if I'm not mistaken, is used by our F5 and we use the Derby. So the AIM-120 would be probably usable as well. So yeah, that would be it. Very cool F5. Is it needed for China? Maybe not, but this whole subtree, maybe it's not needed for them, right? But it would be very cool to see a very modernized F5 that can even fire AIM-120s. Just let's hope if Gaijin adds this aircraft, it's not like a MiG-21 Bison, right? That doesn't have the missiles that it's supposed to have, even if it has a higher BR. That's the fun in this aircraft. Very old aircraft that are really modernized to carry very modern missiles, and Gaijin is taking some of these aircraft out of the question because of that, right? The second aircraft that I wanted to talk about, it's a very interesting one, but it would be kind of copy-paste, would be an F-16C or D Plus. This is basically an export model that was sold for Singapore as well. It has an upgraded Block 52 F-16C as its basis, right? Uses the Pratt & Whitney engine instead of the GE engine found in the Block 50. So we don't have any Block 52s or 42s or 32s yet in the game, but it would be cool to see one of them with the Pratt & Whitney engine, right? And being a plus variant, it has the CFTs, the conformal fuel tanks, which is a very odd look for the F-16, but it would be cool. And of course the APG-68 V9 radar that technically is already in the files. Yes, this radar is already in the files. And it has in the game only more range. It was increased to 95 kilometers from, I think it was 85 from the previous one in the normal pulse mode. In pulse Doppler is like 70 something. It's something along those lines, and 62 for the older V7, right? So it would be basically an F-16 that has conformal fuel tanks, a different engine, and a new radar, which would be very cool to see. So, and it's cool because it is a model based for being you know, for export, right? Another Singaporean vehicle that can actually be added, that would be cool, but it would probably be for the future, not for now, okay? But for the future, would be the F-15SG. The SG would be an F-15C, but upgraded to carry the APG-63V3, which is an AESA radar. So it could carry AIM-9Xs and later models of the AIM-120s as well, right? So it would be a very modern F-15. The question is, look at this, all these three aircrafts that I talked about, guys. If the leak is correct, we will see an F5, an F-16, and an F-15 maybe coming to the Chinese tech tree. Of course, the F-16, we already have it as the MLU, but Gaijin doesn't even want to add the AIM-120s to it, right? So it's barely even a top-tier aircraft. So having these would be all top-tier aircraft. I mean, the F5S maybe not, but the F-16C Plus and the F-15SG especially would be the top tier, right? So it makes you wonder if that is even necessary to come to China. It's like, it's kind of crazy that we are considering for China. Isn't it a better option to come for Japan? Kind of crazy, but still, for Indonesia, we have another aircraft that would be very cool. But to be honest, there's a lot of aircraft that can be added here that are Soviet-based. A lot of them that are already in the tech tree for the Chinese tech tree, right? So MiG-17s, MiG-19s, there are many aircraft that can be added here. But one of them that would be cool to see is the Su-30 Mk2. This would be a modernized Su-30M for export. It would be a normal variant of the Su-30M, but a little bit better than the original ones from the 90s, right? So no canards, no thrust vectoring, but uses a modernized N001 radar, which is kind of the same as the Su-27SM. I don't know exactly if it's the exact same on export model of it. It would be similar to the SM radar, but of course with the same armament as the SM that we have in the game, and a little bit extra on the air-to-ground roll here and there. It would be just a very cool aircraft to have it. The thing is, China can have some other aircraft that are very similar to the Su-30, but if it's added as a subtree, the Su-30 probably should be there somewhere, because many of these nations from Southeast Asia have a form of Su-30, right? And then these are it, guys. These are the interesting things, just to pick some for you to check it out, right? There are many others. I mean, the Tucano, for example, which is a prop plane made in Brazil that is used by Indonesia. Very cool aircraft. They can be a lower rank, right? The Rafale, yes, the Rafale is kind of a joke, but that this could actually be added. But apparently, Indonesia actually ordered some Rafales. So technically, in the future, we can have France with Rafales, the British, if they ever want to add a Indian Rafale, and then China with the Indonesian Rafale. That would be crazy, but technically could happen, right? It would be very odd and controversial, but at the same time, I know a lot of people would love it at the same time. So it's kind of crazy that we can have these, and everybody's having everything right now. So it's not even like a surprise anymore that we might see something like this. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what is your favorite Singaporean or Indonesian vehicle that you would like to see in the Chinese tech tree, if it's ever added like that. Of course, this is very early talks about these. We don't even know if it's 100% confirmed. They are saying that it is, but we need to wait. So grain of salt, as always, with these types of leaks, even though they are coming from a reliable source. See you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye, guys. See you.